So Miami is in the play for two elite, and I mean absolutely elite transfer portal prospects. They're coming off a national championship where they unfortunately fell a little short. Great game, great effort by the team. I'm even shocked that Miami went this far, and I think it's a great thing that Miami did go this far. And I think that Miami is back, the U is back, and I think that's a real thing. I think that they're just going to gain momentum from here, and I think they'll win a national championship within these next few years. But to get to that national championship, you do have to build a national championship winning team, and that is what Mario Cristobal has been trying to do in the transfer portal. Miami is out trying to make some huge splashes. So we're going to talk about two prospects that I think will be absolute difference makers that are currently on visits to Miami. So before we do get into it, I want to greatly appreciate all the Miami fans for all the support. You guys showed me massive amounts of support on that Darian Mensah video. So I greatly appreciate you guys. And we're going to keep the Miami content coming as much as you guys want because, like I said, this team has very high aspirations. And I think that they're going to make some huge splashes in the transfer portal as the window closes. And they're looking to do so right now. So, not going to go too in depth on these players, but kind of give my thoughts and opinions on it, run some numbers by you. So, let's get straight into it. So, Miami is after number one offensive lineman in the entire transfer portal, Jordan Seaton. So, Jordan Seaton was a former five-star recruit in the 2024 cycle. He was ranked as the number one offensive tackle in his class and a top 20 prospect out of the entire class. He had offers from elite schools like Ohio State, Alabama, Tennessee, pretty much every school in the country. And he ultimately chose to go play with Coach Prime in Colorado. He was an immediate contributor there, so he started as a true freshman on the offensive line and played very well. He took to see a tackle come in and play as a freshman is very impressive. He started 13 games there, and he did finish with freshman All-American honors, and he did great as one of the top freshman tackles in the entire country. And that was the 2024 season. 2025 season, he started 9 games because there were some injuries there, and he earned second team All Big 12 honors. So, I mean, huge accolades there for such a young guy. He's a very strong pass blocker who's he this past year he only allowed a handful of sacks, and that was super young too. So the sacks are going to happen with a young tackle, but he's just going to get better and better and better. He's looking for massive NIL money. I will say that there's a big bidding war right now. I know LSU is the favorite right now, but Miami is staying in the hunt. Oregon's also staying in the hunt, but seems like LSU is the favorite right now. Wouldn't surprise me if Miami came in and really paid whatever it took to bring him in because Miami has the money to do it. And if you have the money to do it, why wouldn't you? I don't think that's a bad thing whatsoever. But, he's an elite pass protector, which is going to be big for Darian Mensah. It's going to be big for getting the ball to Kadarius Toney. 5-star pedigree, high football IQ, obviously. He's a proven starter early in college, so he's just going to get better and better as the talent around him gets better because, he was one of the only offensive linemen. He didn't have a great quarterback situation over in Colorado. So maybe he did allow some sacks because Colorado and Caden Salter wasn't really getting the ball out on time. Excellent frame, and he's a future NFL pick. He's a future NFL tackle, and I think pretty much everybody projects him as that. I think he's an elite offensive tackle, and when you look at the development that Miami has had with offensive linemen. You look at like Francis Mauigoa and some other guys. It would not shock me if Jordan Seaton did settle and go to Miami. This is a former IMG guy, so he is from around that area. But yeah, man, Miami can go out and land Jordan Seaton. That's a slam dunk move by Mario Cristobal, and it wasn't losing Mario Cristobal wouldn't really hurt you quite as bad. Losing Did I say Mario Cristobal? Losing Francis Mauigoa would not lose you, or it would not hurt you quite as bad. I'm sorry, I can't talk. It's early in the morning. But anyways, yeah, Jordan Seaton, Miami's making a pretty strong push along with LSU and Oregon. So we'll see what happens there, but they are targeting him. Now the next one is Damon Wilson. Now I think Damon Wilson could be an absolute one of the best edge rushers, and he probably already is. I think he would be the best edge rusher in the country with Miami. You look at what guys like Ruben Bain did. It's got to be intriguing for Damon Wilson to go into Miami, especially when you're coming off a national championship. This team just got a guy like Darian Mensah at quarterback, who I think is an elite quarterback, very underrated quarterback. And you're probably going to be right back in the same spot next year. If I had to make an early prediction, I do think Miami's going to make another playoff run next year, because I don't think it's crazy to say that this team might be a little better next year. You know, they've kind of been open about using Malachi Tony as the cornerstone of that offense. And then you got a guy like Darian Mensah who's really going to attack the passing attack. And then you have a very good run game in Mark Fletcher, who like absolutely shined in the national championship. So I think Miami, they have a very good shot to be even better next year. But anyways, Damon Wilson, he's one of the top defensive linemen in the entire transfer portal. He's an elite edge rusher who's already proven he could produce at a high level at the Power 5 level, or Power 4 level now. You know, he has about 1 year of eligibility left, assuming that he's going to go pro. Like, I would assume that he's going to be pro. He did start his career at Georgia. He was a 5-star, consensus 5-star out of high school, and the number 3 edge rusher in the 2023 class. He's another guy from Florida, so it's very intriguing to watch Miami here. I know teams like Texas Tech is pretty heavily recruiting him as well, but we should know a decision here soon from Damon Wilson. Damon Wilson is currently on a visit to Miami, so I think that's definitely something that you could keep an eye on to possibly sway in Damon Wilson. But like I said, started his career at Georgia, transferred to Missouri, had a breakout year with Missouri. He led the team with 9 sacks. 9 sacks in college is very, very good. And I think those sack numbers would probably even go up at Miami when you pair them with the rest of that elite defensive line that Miami's constantly, seems like they're constantly going to produce. Like, I think Miami's going to be set in the trenches for the next few years. So that's going to be very intriguing. He had 23 tackles, 9.5 tackles for loss. He had an interception, multiple passes deflected. Let me see. Play style. I do want to talk about the play style. So he's an elite pass rusher. Like I said, you know, that's probably his best trait to his game, is he can get to the quarterback. And he's shown an ability to generate pressure consistently at the Power 4 level, I think, which is very big. And it's going to translate over to if you are making those playoff runs and stuff. He's a super athletic player. Like, lateral quickness is crazy. Bend around the edge is really crazy. And he just has a knack for making impact plays, sacks, tackles for loss, even turnovers. Sorry, my alarm went off. But, you know, he has versatility on the line. He could line up as a traditional defensive end, and he could play more stand-up outside linebacker in some different schemes, which I think is going to bring some versatility to this defense, which every defensive coordinator would absolutely love. But, yeah, man, I think this will be a slam dunk pickup as well. Damon Wilson, like I said, he's going to be one of the best edge rushers in the entire country, if not already. This is another guy who could very well go pretty high in the first round. I would say very high in the first round next year in the draft. So, yeah, I think also a slam dunk here if Miami can go out and land him. If you do look at his numbers, he's a junior, so 1 year of eligibility left. 1 interception, 9 sacks, 9 solo tackles. But you look at he had 24 tackles combined, which pretty solid for an edge rusher. But the 9 sacks is really, really what stands out. And he's a bigger body, 6'4", 250. So, yeah, I really think these are 2 moves that Miami should definitely double down on and try and reel them in. And it's going to be a bidding war with both these guys. Can they land them both? I don't know. Miami has the money to do so. And if you have the money to do so, you pull out everything that it takes to do so. Because, like I said, you have national championship aspirations again. And I think you have a very good shot at getting back there. So, yeah, man, that's kind of all we have for this video. If you guys did enjoy this, I greatly appreciate it if you consider subscribing to the channel. Like I said, lots of Miami content coming because you guys